Welcome to the Today in History channel. In today's video we will talk about the day, May 10, 1789, Tiradentes prison in Rio de Janeiro. At the end of the 17th century, a fact would change the destinies of the Portuguese colony in the Americas, the discovery of gold deposits, especially in the region that will be consecrated as Minas Gerais. The alluvial gold, that is, taken directly from the gravel of the rivers, sprang up in immense quantities. Explored by hundreds of miners, it changed the environment and motivated thousands of adventurers to come to the region in search of enrichment. They have grouped into spaces that over the years have become urbanized, giving rise to locations such as Sabera, Mariana Congonhas and Ouro Preto, formerly Vila Rica. In these spaces, commerce and a series of services necessary for urban life were established, still incipient in the rural universe that was the colony. The discovery of gold also motivated the expansion of the slave trade, since the slave labor that would work in the extraction of powdered gold from the gravels of the rivers, and also from mines dug in the land, was primarily a slave. The presence of the mines represented an enrichment factor for Portugal, at the same time that it provided resources for the payment of its bills. A country in the 18th century, still very deficient in manufacturing, Portugal will find itself tied to an economic import policy, especially of English products, which would bring a deficit trade balance, which the gold of its colony on the other side of the Atlantic could alleviate. The Treaty of Methuen, of 1703, subjected the Portuguese economy to English interests, in a relationship of commercial exchanges in which the British entered with manufactured products, largely woven, and the Portuguese, with agricultural products. The aim was to alleviate the deficit arising from such a relationship through payments made with colonial gold. In this sense, Portugal tried to control the smuggling of gold in the colony, a practice that was always carried out, and that the Portuguese crown desperately sought to contain. The creation of road records for surveillance and toll collection, the organization of troops, the creation of legislation, the establishment of foundry houses from 1720 onwards, and the application of harsh penalties have not been able to fully contain smuggling that occurred through the non-payment of the heavy 20% rate, the so-called fifth on the production obtained by the miner. The latter, provided that he proved to be a slave owner, received one or more dates of land for exploitation, and was to pay for the entire process, paying the crown the due fee. The gold, taken in powder from the mines, was to be taken to the foundry houses to be melted. There, after withdrawing the king's fee, it was transformed into bars, with the royal seal. Only in this way could one travel with him on the roads of the mining regions without running the risk of being arrested. Greater rigor was required in the so-called Diamantino district, where the flagrant of transporting gold without proper authorization was punished with death. The mining society, then, was characterized as a space of greater urbanization and social differentiation, with a local elite formed by wealthy landowners, employees of the crown, and other social segments. Many of these men were in debt to the crown. From 1750, in the crisis of gold production due to the growing exhaustion of mines, the Portuguese crown tightened its grip on debtors, in addition to maintaining the annual shipping rate of 100 gold arrobas, 1,500 kilograms, which was almost impracticable. In the quest to collect what he considered to be due, the institution of the spill was applied, collection of arrears liabilities, sequestering the debtor's assets. It is in this context that the figure of Ensign Joaquim José de Silva Xavier, nicknamed Tiradentes, appears because he is a dentist, an activity he practiced as an income supplement. Brazilian historiography has already dealt with this historical character in different ways. Abandoned in the imperial period, for being seen as a criminal punished by the Portuguese crown, he was rescued in the Republic as a national hero, a symbol of revolt against Portuguese oppression. From the leadership position of the conspirators group from Minas Gerais against Portugal, considered as an element of the lower segments of society, punished exemplarily, while the other members of the group, coming from the elites, received lighter penalties than death by hanging. The figure of Tiradentes today is relativized as the leader of the group, precisely because he belongs to the lowest strata of society. In the same way, the interest in the national independence of the movement is also relativized, being rather seen as a movement of independence from Minas. There would not yet be a Brazilian national identity, formed by elements of the elites with large debts vis-a-vis the Portuguese state. The move, rightly scheduled for the day of collection of the spill, would take power. Reported to the Viscount of Barbacena, governor of Minas Gerais, the latter suspended the spill and captured the conspirators. After a long process, Tiradentes really served as a model for the application of colonial justice, being hanged in Rio de Janeiro in 1792. After the hanging, his body was dismembered. The 4 parts were put in saddlebags with brine, to be displayed on stakes on the road between Rio de Janeiro and Vila Rica in Minas Gerais. Tiradentes' house in Vila Rica was demolished, and the ground was salted, so that nothing sprouted on that soil. His family was considered infamous for 4 generations. As a final act, his head was placed on a pole in the center of Vila Rica Square, in front of the city hall, seat of power, and was later stolen. The whereabouts of the lieutenant's head were never known again, considered by historians as one of the great Brazilian heroes in the fight against the oppression of the Portuguese metropolis. An iconography of Tiradentes associated with the image of Christ bearded and with long hair consecrated him as a martyr in national history. Did you like the video? In the description you will find the blog link with the full article. Give an incentive by subscribing to the channel, liking, commenting, and sharing with your friends. Hugs. Until the next.